Yeah, so this is DiceThing. I built this because I wanted a web-based. Well, actually, no. Let's start from the beginning. I built this because I couldn't modify Dice Maker. It wouldn't let me. It's not open source. We couldn't, add new dice shapes, do anything new with it other than what the creator allowed us. That's fine. That's his prerogative, but I wanted to do something. I've just recently seen Dice Forge as well, which looks amazing. It looks far more capable than this product that I have here, but again, not open source. So the source for this is here on GitHub. You can run it yourself. It compiles down to a static web page. Everything's kept in local storage. There's no server requirements whatsoever. It's all there. So that's cool. So yeah, you can update, you can add stuff to this as much as you want. Feel free to build on it. But it's basically a Dice Maker and Dice Forge clone in the browser. It has a couple of unique things, and I'll walk you through what we can do with it. But basically, you can create a set of dice and files to print them. But here we go. So we want to create a new set. We can choose one of these. We can choose the classic 7. They're too small for my liking. The DiceThing 7 is slightly different shapes, ones that I prefer. My 9 is slightly customized versions of those. We have a one of everything if you want to just see what's available. And we have these Go First dice, which are really cool. That's 4 12-sided dice. And you can pick which shape you want them to be. And they, obviously the legend, these are the built-in fonts. Let's go with Voltaire, that's quite a cool one. And we create a set like this. Now we have 12 die, 4 d12s with the numbers 0 to 48 on each of the sides. So all 4 of them could be rolled, and they will always roll distinct numbers, and there's an equal chance of everyone getting the highest and second highest and third highest and last roll. So that's really cool. Anyway, they're just fun. But there we go. Let's start with like the DiceThing 9, which is the same 7 set that you'll get normally. Germania 1 is kind of the default here. We like these. So there we go. Here we are. Here's a D4, 6, 8, 10, 10, 12, 20, all the classic dice. As you can see, you can spin all these round. You can select a particular thing. You can change the scale of the legends. You can move them around on the face of the dice however we like. We can hold shift and twist them, although that's super slow. Yeah, anyway, there we go. We can move them like that. We can go, oh, that's nice. You know what? I want every single face to be like that. Bang, apply that to all the faces. Oh, some of them have gone red. That means that however close that was to the edge, these now are too close to the edge within our tolerance. Not that, this here. So we have a engraving tolerance of 0.05, and we can put that onto the die here. So these are all the engraving boundaries. We can see that's there. So this 17 just needs to be moved slightly inwards. 16 as well. Move it slightly inwards. There we go. What was the last one? There's an 11. Oh no, loads broken. I'll tell you what, let's look at all of them together. And I'm going to select the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and yeah, move all of these together. And raise them up a bit. There we go. They're all there now. Perfect. And put them back into a shape. There we go. There's a D20 with all of the numbers in the corners. So you can do a lot of cool things like that. You can, for example, take the D6. Let's explode that again. And say you want to scale the numbers a bit, so you got massive numbers. There we go. Then apply that to all the faces. We could say that actually we want some of these the other way up. We can apply the rotation to that. So now that's 180 to normal, but maybe we want the opposite face on that as well, which is the 5. You can format paint that one onto the 5 and one on the 3. Let's go with that, see what that looks like. And then we can pull that back together. And you see some of the faces are flipped relative to the others. Cool. So camera resets, turn off the grid lines, show the legend outlines, turn it into explode mode. There's a fancy rendering mode which renders these kind of more like there, but I tend to prefer this surface normal mode where you can see exactly what's going on. All the dice have shape tweaking parameters, so these trapezohedrons are quite tall, but we could squidge them down if you prefer flatter ones. You can change the engraving depth, and the tolerances, these lines here that we were looking at, you can say actually I want to leave at least 1 millimeter around every edge. There we go, and it's brought that tolerance down in there. So now a legend will be considered problematic if it breaks that 1 millimeter boundary. There we go, cool. You can add new dice. Here's all the types of dice. So you can add a coin if you want. Coins are pretty cool, we'll come back to that in a minute, but yeah, lots of different shapes of dice here, including some really big ones that you would never want to polish, and some interesting ones down the bottom here. You can order these by shapes, polyhedrons, you can order them by size, D2s, see all the different D4 variants, for example, all in one place. Yeah, there we go. Right, close that. Here's the coin. Let me talk about the coin. Coin's interesting because all of the other dice have convex faces, but the coin, you can have any face on it you want. We've got a polygon option and a custom option. The rim segments tells you how many sides your coin has, so we can go from 3 to 4 to 6. We can make it almost circular by making it massive there. And you get a nice round coin. You can also use a custom SVG path to define your thing. It can't have any holes, it will drop any holes, but you can create a path using the standard SVG parameter to make a shape as funky as you want, like that one. There we go. Anyway, let's remove that one from the set and back to here. Okay, cool. Yeah, this one has cool. We can do cap twists on these, so they were halfway before. I like them about 1/4 of the way. Note that these ones have flat faces, so potentially they can land on the face. If I make mine a little fatter, you'll notice that now it can land on one of the blank faces, and we have a thing to say that's probably not a good idea. So you need to do something about it. And there we go, and now it's back to normal. You'll notice that as that, if we put that back to a breaking one, you get a little warning up here that that's a problem. So you can easily see that across all your dice when they load. There we go. Once you've got your dice how you want them, you can export 3D print, and you get the nice render of all of the dice together that you're going to print. If you want blanks, click the blank button. Automatically shrinks them by the maximum engraving depth on the original plus a given tolerance, which is 0.7. That's probably too high, to be honest. You probably only want that down at, say, 0.2, and have your blanks that size. And you can automatically generate platforms as well. So they just take one of the sides and bang, generate platforms that are slightly inset from the outside of one of the faces. Cool. And then you can output that as a 3MF or an STL and in files by groups and things like that, as much as you want. Right. Come back here. We have different legends. So obviously on any specific face you can pick any legend you want, but if you want to switch legends out, we can do that. We can switch to all blanks. If you wanted to just design a set of blanks up front, We can switch to Alice in Wonderland, which is one that I quite like, and it'll just update all of the different ones to do that. If you were to put like a logo on your 20 face, like this, which a lot of people do, let's put that back in the middle. Unset. There we go, back in the middle, and there we are. Rotation, unset as well. There we are. That one's back exactly in the middle. If we were to do that, then if anyone else made a custom legend set that had a logo in the middle, it would go there. So obviously I could create a new one. I could base it off this Josephine medium, clone and edit, and we come to the logo one and replace with an SVG, say, and I've got somewhere in here I've got a helmet. No, that's the favicon. My Titans one in here. Yeah, the Titans logo, there we go. Okay, cool, so we've got the Titans logo there. It's got these little gaps in it which aren't going to print particularly well, so if we could use the complex importer, it splits everything up by path, but we can fill in the paths if we don't want the holes. So let's use that one, bang, perfect. You can also, we could, for example, oh look, the Josephine wasn't quite right on this one, and you see you get a error warning there, engraving broken, because this 13 needs to be brought back a little bit. But our 20 face is now the Titans logo. That's pretty cool. If you want to create new legends, you can go for this. Shows all the sets that you've got, all the built-in sets. You can import one from JSON, which can be exported, or you can load it from a font. And we try and do as much as possible to make these work nicely. There was a pretty horrible font called Half Elven, which I've been working with, the bold. I think it's the bold, yeah, there we go. So that changes the font there, so it puts the DiceThing logo in there. Again, you can change that. Some fonts don't work perfectly, so this will go through and render the font on every single dice with every single combination. As you can see, that all worked okay, so that's going to be good. I think I've ironed out most of the problems, but if you ever get one that errors here, that's something I want to know about. Anyway, if we come back here, back to our dice sets, create dice, and what do we have? This custom 7 here. We can now switch the legends to my Half Elven font, and there we go, newly imported from a font. Perfect. And of course the logo is still on there as well. Okay, so that's legends, that's dice. The final feature is the boxes, so you can build a box for your dice. And there we are. Got little hinges, got little pockets for your dice there. It'll close nicely. Magnet bores so that it'll snap shut, which is quite nice. But yeah, little pockets on there, and totally configurable. You can change the corner truncation, you can change all of the sizes of everything. We can come to edit the layout here, and you can move the dice around exactly as you want them. We can do some auto things, so we can have a big long row, big long box. Make that smaller there. Or put this tall one in the middle and this short one at this. Oh, it doesn't want to do that. Where is it going? That short one over there. This one in the middle. And yeah, enough space for these ones. Perfect. Right. And there we go. Apply that. And now we built a long box. And this is what it looked like. It does render dice on the top and the bottom, but obviously you'll only have one set in there. It's just to show that it fits into the holders in both sides. There we go. Hope you enjoy using it. report any bugs, make it your own. Thank you.